together.
I think the one thing that I've learnt from it, and I think that people should abide by it, and that is that if you get a pumpkin, or you should get a pumpkin and hollow it out and make a little face and put a little candle in it and put that visibly in the front of your house, that means that you will then entertain anybody who comes and knocks on your door for trick-or-treating, you know.
Yeah. So look, there's old Mike Barry sitting in the window aglow.
Well, you know,
And he's very fortunate, he doesn't even have to dress up.
we sit there and the doorbell goes, you know, and my wife says, go and answer it.
Mine says exactly the same.
And I said, no, you go and answer it, you know. Well, I don't know who it is, you know. I said, I do. Well, how do you know who it is? I said, it's kids.
Yeah.
You know, I said, there'll be a bunch of kids out there. You got to take a tin of sweets out there. They'll dive into this tin of sweets, grab as many as they can, and bugger off.
Yeah, but they're not so young kids these days, are they? They're like teenagers.
Well, some of them. I mean, we've had it where, you know, mums and dads are at the top of the drive and they're watching the little kids, you know, thieving from you because they're sticking their hand in, and instead of taking one bag, you know, they're taking 4 or 5 bags, and then they just run out the drive and they go to mum and dad, you know, look, there's more of these ones, I don't like them, you know. And you think, hang on a minute, you know, don't you have the courtesy of saying thank you?
You're absolutely right.
Thank you, sir. Yes. You know, thank you, Mr. Barry.
Well, I got myself in trouble with some local parents.
Well, what did you do?
Well,
yes, he was only 4 at the time.
we were messing about, and I was wearing a Halloween-type mask. And the doorbell rang, and I opened it, and I went, hello. Well, this young little girl burst into tears and went, mummy.
He's got a better mask than me.
I obviously scared the youngster, and her mother's come up to me and she said, you're irresponsible dressing up on Halloween like that.
Yeah.
I'm going, really? Yeah.
As you sunk your teeth into her neck.
I didn't sink my teeth anywhere near her neck.
You should have done.
It was her ankle.
Yeah.
Mr. Bluffield, you have some weird taste this morning. Just because you've still got some tomato sauce left on your plate, which I assume you're going to lick up in a minute, probably.
No, it's going in the bin.
No, he's going to use it as actually part of his decoration.
I was thinking of like a cake going straight in your face.
Well, have you eaten all of the sausage?
No, still quite a few left. Do you want one?
No, I don't think.
And some more sausages if you want them, gentlemen.
I'll have a sausage.
Yeah, finish them off, mate, because
I can't eat all them.
Oh,
I bet you've eaten the majority of them.
No, I've only had one.
No, I bet you will.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure the listeners are absolutely fascinated by the sausage eating habits of the presenters of the Grumpy Old Men show.
Yeah,
well, we get up so early. We get up before dawn, don't we? We did this morning, 6 o'clock. We don't have time for breakfast.
Dawn's got nothing to do with it. She doesn't know you got up early.
Well, she did, because I've gone.
Oh, yeah, well, same in my house.
Nega Machete drives me mad.
Yeah, why?
Because she's bitchy to everybody on the programme.
Well, that's all right. She's bitchy to everybody. If she was discriminatingly bitchy, that would be bad.
And Phil Wilkinson's put a comment on our pages, which I don't quite understand. He says, yes, but don't you feel for her brother, Burger A's Monchetti?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well...
Well, what about mum and dad as well? You know,
I don't know.
Come on, you're just.
I'm grumpy.
You are being a bit this morning, aren't you?
I am. Yes, I am.
You are. Right, coming up at 12 o'clock. Not 12 o'clock. 10 o'clock this morning. My word, it's Decades with Charlotte and Dave, and then 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock this afternoon. All Sorts with DJ Digital, a weekly showcase of good music, and then 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock tonight is Roots, Soul, Rhythm and Blues with Erica Gordon. Some of the programmes here on CRMK over today, and we'll tell you a little later on what's over tomorrow. 07790 385 385 is the telephone number. If you want to WhatsApp us, whatever they call that thing, you know, you can send a text message in anyway. 07790 385 385. Some of the things you didn't know about gin. In fact, funny enough, the lady we had on the show yesterday was into gin festivals rather than beer festivals.
Yeah, talking about that, wasn't we?
Yeah, the name gin is a shortened form of Genoveva, which derives from juniperus.
Yeah, juniper berries.
Yes, the Latin name for the juniper berry. And the earliest known mention of gin dates from the 13th century, but its mass appeal dates from the Dutch use of it as a medicine in the 17th century. And gin became popular in the late 17th century England when when the Dutch Prince William of Orange was on the throne with his wife Mary.
Really? Double throne, was it?
They were sharing the throne, yes. Well, that's a good idea. It must have been a double-throned house.
Well, they did have them then, didn't they? They did used to sit next to each other when they were on the throne.
Oh, goodness gracious me, yes. I mean, I went to Ephesus in Turkey, and the old city there, you know, and you go to their loo bits, you know, and they're really rather strange because, anyway, there's holes in the...
You know, the most appalling ones I've seen are in Hong Kong. In the public ones are awful, not the ones that the Brits use, you know, the expats
you should
use.
go to Nepal and
That's the same, I should think.
Kathmandu, yes, you know, I mean, they don't worry about it there because you go into a bus depot, and when they've all got off the bus and they've all just relieved themselves in
public
always, and yes, you know, and you have to fight your way through it, you know.
Nice.
The popularity of gin was also enhanced by the heavy tax that the English put on French brandy. And when the Gin Act of 1736 also imposed high taxes on gin, people rioted in the street. Duty was then reduced and the tax abolished in 1742.
Well, I mean, I was really shocked to find out that it was the Dutch that invented gin, because I always thought it was an English drink.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
De Kuipers, I think. De Kuipers invented it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Well, you live and learn on the show, you see.
Half the world's production of gin is drunk in the Philippines.
Oh, that's their own gin, though, isn't it? What they make themselves. It's like that rum, that Filipino rum, isn't it?
It's still gin, you know. So, and the earliest citation of the abbreviation G&T in the Oxford Dictionary is from 1960. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Really? It only goes back to then?
Yeah.
Who invented that then?
Well, I don't know, but the British Army in India in the 19th century added tonic water to gin as a way of making the anti-malarial quinine in the tonic more palatable. But this is another interesting fact here.
You sound like Kevin's show.
Well,
he does things like
there
this.
were 6,287 places to buy gin in London in 1726. That's twice as many coffee shops as there are today.
And there's now also quite a number of specialist gin manufacturers in London, isn't there? Designer gins, which are apparently very good.
Well, throughout the country now, you know.
I don't greatly like gin, actually.
Even if you go into places like the supermarkets, Morrison's, Tesco's, things like that, you know, before on the shelf, you know, you'd get maybe 2-3 varieties of gin, Beefeaters and Gordons and perhaps Blue Sapphire, you know. Now, you know, there's about 12 or 14 or 20 different varieties.
Was it Blue Sapphire that was banned in Canada, I believe, for being too strong?
I don't know, but finally, I love the statement from W.C. Fields, a man after my own heart. I never drink anything stronger than gin before breakfast. It's wonderful, isn't it?
I love it.
So it's what we could do here on CRMK. Saturday morning, of course, with the Grumpy Old Men. If you like to comment at all this morning, then we'd be delighted to hear from you. You know, all you have to do is send us a text.
We've not heard from Mark Elvis lately, have we?
No.
What's happened to him? Has he gone AWOL?
He liked your comment.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
About what?
Don't forget, you can join us here this morning. Comment on the Grumpy Old Men's page.
Oh.
Your usual sort of reminder to everybody that will be appearing on Saturday morning. And him, Mark.
There we go. Thanks, Mark. More than welcome.
A few other people have commented. It's 22 people seen it. It's quite good.
It's interesting this morning, actually, yes, the audience, but there you go. High Street, this is one that you will be very familiar with, Bob Bruno, because High Street restaurants and bar chains are breaking the law by failing to offer customers small glasses of wine. 6 years ago, the government ruled that 125ml glasses of wine should be compulsory on all wine bar lists in a bid to cut down on excessive drinking.
You just buy two then, don't you?
But a probe found the Spaghetti House and Slug and Lettuce chains did not have 125ml glasses on their menus. In Ask Italian, 125ml glasses were on the menu, but if customers asked for a small glass, they were given 175ml measure. Only Zizi and Giraffe offered 125ml without question.
Really? In some restaurants, they offer 125ml glasses as a large glass.
Well, that's right. You know, the 5 chains were investigated by Channel 4's Tricks of the Restaurant Trade, which was shown on television recently. The host, Sophie Morgan, said, as wine popularity has grown stones as the standard measure from 125 to 175. Well, I don't really understand what's wrong with that, because, like you say,
choice.
If you have two small glasses, two small glasses or one large glass. And I mean, we are known to go into hostelries and order bottles of wine by the case, aren't we, really?
More or less.
More or less. Yes. I mean, the man comes and opens the bottle, screw top normally, and puts it on the table, and we immediately ask for another one, don't we? Just follow it up. And,
we did on that occasion. Well, 6 times. Or 8 times.
Slug and Letters apparently were the only ones to apologise and said that staff would be provided with refresher training, while Spaghetti House said that staff were trained that smaller measures were available and the incident should not have occurred. But I still think this is a way of just sort of treating us
nanny state, isn't it?
A nanny state, yes. It's
a state of nanny.
Well, it's still like the business of you going to a pub and you get a short measure on the beers, or the lagers, where there's supposed to be a line on the glass and you're supposed to bring it up to it. And some chains have got larger than 1 pint glasses, so that in fact, if you buy a pint of Guinness and it's got a half-inch head on it, but you will see that the liquid is actually up to the line, so you've got your pint of Guinness, and I did enjoy my pint of Guinness last night as well.
You drink Guinness, well? You don't normally drink Guinness, do you? You don't normally drink Guinness, do you?
I do on a Friday night, yes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because it makes me feel better on a Saturday morning,
Yes. What used to say, what was the slogan of Guinness now? Makes you, what's it? Looks good, feels good, makes you, what was it? Can't remember now.
I can't remember.
No, I have to look that one up.
Here's another one. The name of brides and grooms' mothers could be added to marriage certificates under plans from the Church of England. Apparently, only the names of fathers are included in a system that dates back to the Victorian era.
Sexist again.
Yeah, 3 years ago, when then Prime Minister David Cameron pledged to make the change, saying the existing system does not reflect modern Britain. But, there are a few marriage certificates, anyway, nowadays, but previous proposals have failed because they demanded the costly replacement of tens of thousands of register books or failed to allow for same-sex unions. Well, jolly good, tough on you, because when same-sex don't get married, they can't, but there you go.
Well, I know two same-sex people, friends that have got married.
Yeah, they've got a union, but they can't.
No, they got married.
Yes, I know. But
they had a marriage ceremony.
Yes, so which one's the man and which one's the woman?
Well, I don't know. I don't go into that.
Well, there you go. So, and which one's going to have the babies? Which is the union of marriage producing children?
No, rubbish. They have them outside marriage now, don't they?
Well,
most people.
Yes. Under the plans,
old-fashioned, Mike.
Well, the Bishop of St Albans, actually, Dr. Alan Smith, a member of the House of Lords, has tabled a draft bill which involves a simple digital system. Under his plan, marriages would be recorded electronically for inclusion in the digital register that could include space for the details of both parents. A formal certificate would be issued from the digital database. The Home Office welcomed the plan, estimating set-up costs would be less than £1.3 million and £30 million saved in 10 years as a result of the change. So, in other words, you get a digital marriage certificate.
Have we got more to worry about in this country than things like that going through Parliament?
Well, that's the House of Lords.
Talking about Parliament, what's going to happen in Spain, do we think? We shouldn't say Spain, we should say Catalan, shouldn't we? In Barcelona, you edged on this just before the show, didn't you, this morning, about not the place to go at the moment, possibly. Do you think it's going to end up in another Spanish Civil War?
Well, I think it's going to end up in dissolving the European Union. I think it's the real catalyst for change.
Catalanist.
I know. It was a very poor pun. But I think it will be the catalyst for change that the British leaving, the Brexit, really isn't causing, because it's a nation-state leaving as opposed to a nation-state breaking up. I think the same problem would have happened if a Scottish referendum had gone a different way and Scotland wanted independence from England.
Oh, you're quite right.
They would have had to reapply for a status within the EU. So I think that the people of Catalan are going to have the similar sort of problem because I think it will split the European Parliament. Because there are countries that think that it's appropriate to have independent states, like Scotland, for instance, would be very supportive of the
I'm surprised
what's the right word? Catalanese people?
Catalans, yeah. I'm surprised